Getting a new horse is always exciting, but how will your herd react? Thankfully, horses are good at determining their own hierarchies. While your newcomer may have to deal with some aggression in the beginning, this is natural until it finds its place in the group. By preparing the environment, introducing the new horse, and monitoring the introductions, you can help your new horse feel at home. How to introduce a new horse to the herd. This video will tell you how to preparing the environment, introducing the new horse, and monitoring the introductions. Welcome to dailyneedstudio.com. Method 1. Preparing the environment. Number 1. Check that your paddock has 600 square feet, 55.7 sqm, per horse. Adequate room will reduce infighting and make it more likely your new horse will get along with the herd. Use a tape measure to confirm each horse will have enough space to run and play. While specific dimensions are less important than overall space, narrow paddocks may cause more conflict. Having a larger paddock will also give your horses more space and allow them to go off on their own if they choose to do so. Number 2. Study the dynamic of your herd. Spend an afternoon observing your horses at turnout. The horses that will be most aggressive towards a new horse are usually the ones lower in the social hierarchy. Horses that are chased and antagonized by a dominant horse in an established herd are likely to be lower in the social order. You may know your horses well enough to know who runs things and who is more of a follower. Make sure to observe your horses during feeding times as well. This will help you to identify the hierarchy of the herd. Smaller mares are likely to be lower down the social chain than larger geldings. Number 3. Space the food and water sources at least 20 feet, 6.1 meters apart. Use a tape measure to space the hay pile and the water trough in the paddock where you'll introduce the horses. Adequate space allows your horses to eat and drink with less conflict. You don't need to set aside a special hay pile or water trough for the new horse. The horses will sort out differences and graze as they wish. A single water trough is usually preferable to water buckets, which may spook skittish horses once empty. Providing multiple sources of food and water will also help to reduce the chances that horses lower on the hierarchy do not get hurt and will have adequate access to food and water. Horses can be given as much hay and water as they will eat. There is no need to restrict access or give a specific amount. Number 4. Remove hind shoes from aggressive horses to prevent kicking injuries. Call a farrier to help you with the removal process. Save the shoes for each horse in a separate place so they can be put back on after the new horse is integrated. If your herd is very large or particularly rowdy, removing front shoes as well may be a good idea. Number 5. Walk your paddock and remove any hazards. Look carefully for any errant nails, loose boards, or other dangers that may injure your horses during the introduction. Perform cleanup and repairs as necessary. Expect your horses to act more wildly than normal when they meet, including lots of kicking and running. Number 6. Board off any enclosed spaces. If your paddock has a shelter or another small area where your new horse could be cornered, block access to it. This will keep your new horse from being injured or antagonized in a small space, which could increase violence. Did this video help you? Let's comment below. Yes or no. Method 2. Introducing the new horse. Number 1. Quarantine the new horse for 2 to 3 weeks. Stable your new horse in a separate building from your other horses. If at all possible, have the new horse under the care of different handlers during this time to avoid the spread of disease. At the end of the quarantine period, ask your vet to examine the horse for any signs of injury or illness. Number 2. Schedule a vet checkup for all members of the herd. Check that all members of the herd are in good health before attempting an introduction. The horses will be doing a lot of running, kicking, biting, and other jockeying for position in the new hierarchy. A minor injury could easily become more serious. Introducing new horses to the herd is stressful for the new and old horses, which can make them more susceptible to illness. This is why it is so important to make sure that both groups are as healthy as possible before merging them. Postpone the introduction until all your horses are well. Number 3. Place the new horse in an adjoining paddock for 2 to 3 days. Turn out the rest of your horses in a paddock across from the new horse. Make sure the fence between the two paddocks is sturdy and stable. This arrangement lets the horses to become familiar with each other, but the new horse can move away if it feels uncomfortable. There is no need to break up biting or other interaction over the fence. The new horse can move away if it wishes. Number 4. Move a non-aggressive, middle-ranking horse in with the new horse. From your initial herd observations, select a horse of middling rank to room with the new horse in the paddock for a few hours. A horse of opposite gender may also be less threatening. This roommate setup allows your new horse to have an ally in the greater group before the horses are all introduced. Some kicking, biting, and chasing is normal. If a horse stops defending itself from a violent attack, though, that may be a sign that you need to remove the more aggressive horse. If a dominant horse prevents the other horse from eating and drinking, that is also cause for separation. You will have to use your best judgment to decide what aggression is simply working things out and what is too violent. A good rule of thumb is to intervene if the level of intensity makes you uncomfortable, but not if it will put you at risk of injury. Your personal safety should come first. If you are worried, then make sure to enlist the help of others. Number 5. Move the new horse and its ally to where you'll introduce the herd. Remove the herd before doing this, if they're in that area. Let the new horse get comfortable in this paddock with its friend. The more familiar it becomes with the paddock, the less likely it is to injure itself when trying to flee the other horses. Number 6. Plan to introduce the horses during the day when the weather is good. Avoid days when the paddock footing is slick from rain or the evenings when you can't see what's going on. Select a time when you'll be available to supervise the horses and intervene if things get too rowdy. It can be helpful to have another person or two available in case you need additional hands. Number 7. Release the other horses 20 minutes after a meal. Turn out the other horses in the paddock where the new horse and its ally are waiting. After a good meal in their stalls, there will be less competition for hay in the paddock and the horses are likely to be in a good mood. Did this video help you? Let's comment below. Yes or no. Method 3. Monitoring the introductions. Number 1. Expect kicking, biting, and chasing. Understand that your old horses will harass the newcomer, and it may respond in kind. The new horse needs to prove itself to find its place in the social pecking order. This is normal. Snorting and squealing are common forms of horse communication that will continue while the horses figure out the pecking order. Number 2. Watch for the horses to stop chasing the new horse when they tire. Look for heavy breathing and sweat to see that your horses are tired out. Resting when tired is a healthy and normal behavior that's to be expected, and it means that everyone is settling in. Number 3. Remove the new horse if the others persist even after they're exhausted. If your horses continue to kick or bite your new horse despite their exhaustion, this may be a sign of deeper aggression or issues among the herd. Remove the new horse and try the process again the next day. Expect it to take as little as a few hours or as many as a few days for your new horse to find its place in the group. A little aggression and discomfort is necessary as the horses settle into their new roles. If the new horse continues to be viciously attacked for more than a week, you may need to explore rehoming. Number 4. Check the horses for signs of injury each day. Before turning your horses out the next day, inspect all the animals for lameness, open bite wounds, or serious bruising. Minor injuries can be made worse quickly. Keep any hurt horses in the stable until they are in good health. Call the veterinarian to address any injuries as necessary. Number 5. Keep an eye out for displays of affection. Look for horses that mutually groom, lean on one another, and breathe with their noses close to one another. These are signs that your new horse has been accepted by the herd. You no longer need to monitor the group as closely. Tips. 1. In the beginning, your horses may need to re-establish the hierarchy every time they go out. This is normal and will fade with time. 2. If one dominant horse is very aggressive, it may be helpful to introduce the new horse to the group minus that one horse for the first few days. While you can still expect some aggression when the dominant horse returns, the overall aggression of the group will likely be lessened.